So Ryan, tell me about yourself for those who might not know.
47-year-old skateboarder, originally from Alabama, living in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I try to do everything I like. I shoot photos, shoot video, play music, skate, design, edit, whatever, just everything. So I'm a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah, I don't like being just one thing, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good thing to, do a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Keeps your mind going.
It's been a beautiful life.
Mm-hmm. Over the years, you seem to do a lot of things. What do you think came first?
Probably skateboarding. There's a picture of me and my brother sitting on a skateboard together in 1980 or something like that. But of course that leads to other things. And my mom was a photographer, so she got me a camera.
Nice.
One of those old film cameras that shoot on discs.
Mm-hmm.
You actually had the film was in a disc. It wasn't a little roll.
I've seen those.
Yeah, it was a disc camera. I loved shooting with that thing, but I wasn't a photographer. I called myself a skateboarder.
Skateboarder.
Yeah.
You just did it for fun.
Yeah, it was just something else to do.
Yeah.
Alabama, there's not much to do.
Mm-hmm.
You can
find
stuff like that, or you can
yourself,
go off and get in trouble. You
Yeah.
know, there's not much to do. So I always thought I grew up in the city, but everyone outside the city was in the trailer parks and the farms and all that stuff. So I thought they were the rural rednecks. But when I go back now, I realize that we were the rednecks too. It's just Alabama. There's nothing to do. So they kind of all just slowly fell into place, and it wasn't until maybe 2006 that everything kind of hit the same goal, the same focus, which was doing stuff for skateboarding, which would involve music, it would involve photography, it would involve filming and all that stuff.
Those things are very connected, especially with skateboarding. Cool how you can connect so many things into skateboarding,
Yeah, I mean, I thank Stacy Peralta, because he was probably my first inspiration of somebody making videos, and it not only were the videos cool, but it was great music, great art. The illustration was always nailed. Just the personalities and spotlighting these people. You see something in them, and you want other people to see the same thing. So it's up to you to kind of paint that picture, and that's kind of where it all began. Yeah.
What was your first skateboard?
Probably that one that me and my brother are sitting on in that photo. It's got to be late 70s, little sidewalk surfer, like roller skate trucks, that kind of thing. I can remember pushing around when I was learning how to stand up and push on one. Was probably a Nash saw blade grip tape, old school cheapo board. And then I think when I was I'm a skateboarder, that was a shop board. And then I bought Tommy Guerrero's boards over and over again. Occasionally Lance's boards. Lance was my brother's first board. My brother's 4.5 years older than me, so he did everything first. I was really into Bones Brigade and a few other things. We were reading Trans World and Thrasher a lot, and it was just a good introduction of that culture to our town that didn't really have that culture. So there weren't many of us. And back then, if you saw another skater or any kind of subculture type person, a punk or anyone, you immediately ran over and met them and asked them to come skate, asked them to come do stuff. It seems like it's kind of come back to that, but I can remember going to the skate park in the early 2000s, and people were just cold and rude and stuff, and it wasn't really the same as I remember it back in the 80s. But
there's still some skate parks like that.
Yeah, there was this shop that popped up in South Huntsville called the Underground, and they had a back area with a bunch of vert and flow ramp, the mini ramps with the hump in the middle, that kind of stuff. Yeah. And they made these shop boards, and I remember begging for one of those for Christmas. So I don't know if the Guerrero stuff came before that, or that was the first one, but that was kind of the first street, I'm a skateboarder kind of board.
Yeah.
That I actually chose. You know what I mean? That's probably it.
Pretty sick. So when you're filming, how do you exactly get the shot? Is it instinct? Is it just a certain angle you want to get? How do you exactly do it?
Well, that's the good part, is everyone has their own eye. So that's why videos are so diverse, and you just kind of go with what you think looks cool. Yeah,
that's what's so great about skateboarding videos,
And after seeing Strobik's stuff being so close up, and he made the mundane part of skating, which was the roll up, he made that super exciting and interesting. I definitely took inspiration from that. So that's why a lot of my shots get closer. But you got to know when to back things off, show the spot. You got to know. You just got to do do it enough. You have to do it so many times where you're like, oh, this sucked.
Get into a rhythm with
this
it.
looks bad. Next time I'm going to do it a different way.
Yeah.
Oh, this looks bad. Next time I'm going to do it a different way. And eventually you start to kind of find out like, okay, the spot's like this. I should probably be down here. I should be on the skater's front side to see him coming, so it's not like a butt shot or something.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, the butt shot is the one too. So you kind of have to be open to break the rules too if you want to set yourself apart and be different. But yeah, you just kind of go with what feels right and what looks cool. You know, we all like watching skate videos, so we should kind of know what excites us, and you just go with that gut feeling and a little bit of technicality, a little bit of thought process too. That's pretty much it.
I would say that's about what sums it up. I'm definitely learned a lot about the angles in the past like 6 months from him.
Yeah, and everything's different too. Using a phone, you film a certain way. Using these little 360 cameras.
Oh, those are sick.
Yeah, they're great. You don't have to bend over and hurt your back anymore. You got a nice long stick to stand up to.
I had somebody film me with one of those on a pump track.
Oh, nice.
And it was the...
I'm sure it looks sick
Inglewood
too.
Pump track, you know that spot?
I haven't been there, but...
Yeah, but there's like
I've seen it.
There's the two berms, and I was olling from berm to berm. It was like a 4 or 5 foot gap, and this guy had those instant 360 cameras, whatever they're called.
Yeah.
He had one of those, and he filmed it and sent it to me. I was like, whoa. That's crazy, dude. He was above me with it too.
The good thing about those cameras
unreal.
is you go frame by frame and choose your composition on your phone. So it connects Bluetooth to your phone.
Yeah.
You just go frame by frame and keep centering the skater. Or if you want to just turn around and look at yourself the whole time, you can do that too. But
I know, it's pretty cool, dude. The guy showed me like how it worked. I'm like, well, that's sick.
Like, there's definitely a way to do it. Like I said, with anything, there's a better way to get in there, a good angle, a good all that. But those 360 cameras, you can't really miss. So at least you know you're gonna have the skater in frame.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything is a little different. You know, filming with the HPX, like I like the Panasonics. I really like the rocker zoom, so you can go out and in, and it's nice and quick and flowy. And then kind of just do it enough to figure it out. You know, if you like anything enough, you'll just keep doing it. You know, you gotta enjoy sucking at something. You gotta have fun no matter what you're doing, or you're never gonna get to some like dreamy level, you know, which I still want much more. I want like a Thrasher cover. I want, you know, there's a bunch of stuff that I want to do. I just finally had my first California premiere back in June.
Awesome,
and that's been a dream of mine for a long time. So you set these goals, you have fun, failing over and over again. Eventually, if you're having enough fun, you're going to keep doing it. Eventually, you'll reach them. That kind of thing, yeah.
So you've been crowned by Thrasher the king of photo graffiti, which sounds pretty damn cool. Would you like to talk about that?
No, not at all. No, I'm just kidding. No, speaking of dreams, that's one that I just never expected. So Photograffitti is the reader submission stuff.
Yeah.
So that's the reader's chance to get into Thrasher. You don't have to be in the industry. You can be in your little town in Kansas, and you know, your friend can shoot a photo, and if they like it, you know, they could put it in. They get lots of images, and
I'm sure they get
back in 2013, I learned about that, and I started sending them in like crazy, just shooting my friends. I was living in Las Cruces, New Mexico, and skating in El Paso a lot. So the first one I ever got was in November of 2014, and it was this guy Chavez from Las Cruces. Yeah, it's kind of a big deal just getting in there, you know, something you shot, someone you know is in Thrasher, which is, you know, people call it the Bible of skateboarding, same as Arnold has the Bible of bodybuilding. Yeah, I just kept shooting, and I would send in like 100, 150 a year.
Wow.
You know, just every time I shot a photo, I would shoot it off. I have I'm not publishing them. I'm not printing them. I'm just shooting for fun.
You're seeing where it goes and having fun with it.
Just doing stuff that I think looks cool and getting excited on that. And this was also kind of right at the beginning of Instagram for me. So I would post them to Instagram anyways. But somehow I got lucky enough where they, you know, liked my photos. And
on Instagram?
No. They just liked the submissions to Thrasher, and I would get, you know, something in the magazine. But then it just kind of kept happening. It would happen again, and I was just super lucky. Where people would message me or reach out to me and say, hey, I'm trying to get into Photograffitti. How are you getting in so much? And I'm like, dude, I don't know. And I'd say, how many photos have you sent them? And they're like, well, I've sent 5 and they didn't use any of them. I'm like, I sent like 150 just last year. Like, don't have expectations at all. You got to drop your expectations and you got to put it into the universe. And if the universe wants to do something with it, that's fucking great. Yeah, that's the thing, is I just never had expectations. I never really kept that memory in my head that I sent a photo off. And then 2017, I get an email about doing an interview for the stuff in Photographitti. I just did a little short interview. I sent them a picture of me standing in front of my house with my dog. And then when it comes out, they called me the king of Photographitti. And that was pretty huge. Like, that's why I have the little crown tattooed on my finger.
Huh.
And
I noticed that earlier. I was like, I wonder what that's for.
Yeah, it's a super...
That makes sense now.
Super big deal. This is the first thing I ever got on a finger. I don't really like the other finger stuff. I'm going to have to get rid of it. But this one's super important just because, like, I just never expected that. I don't really put myself up there as deserving anything. As much as we all want to hope we deserve something, you just have to drop those expectations, and to get that recognition and to know that I've had more images in the Photographitti section than anyone ever is a pretty big deal. It's kind of slowed down because I've been focusing on getting articles instead, so I am holding on to stuff and not submitting it as much, but every once in a while I'll still get one in there. It's probably over 30 now. Yeah, it's, like I said, big deal. And I'm just so blessed they haven't named anyone else the king of photography. So still got my crown on.
Stay on top.
Yeah.
So the Chapped series has a pretty good following, with some people that seem to really respect it. How do you keep it going good?
It's just what we do at this point. The whole thing started as a zine. I was kind of having fun doing a board company where I didn't know what I was doing and just enjoying it. Pissed a lot of people off because I wasn't following industry standards back in my little hometown in Alabama and Chattanooga, Tennessee. Yeah, when I got tired of doing that, I started writing a zine, and I was sitting in a backyard in El Paso, this guy Jaime Favela's house, and he has like a little egg bean kind of shaped pool in his backyard.
Sounds fun. And
the lip was just super chunked up. He usually like redoes it every few years, but this was like right before he redid it, and it was just super chunked up. So I took a picture of it, and I really liked the picture, and I was like, oh, the lip is chapped, I like, it's super dry and fucked up, and I was like, oh, the lip is chapped, and I was like, oh, chapped. So I printed that picture out, and I started writing Chapped in cursive, and I was like, yeah, this looks cool, and started writing a zine. But the zine was just too personal. I have a tendency to get too personal with writing, so I was kind of turned off with that, and the original plan was to have a short video that goes with the zine, and every time I finish a zine, I'll release that and a video together. And now that the zine was, let's get that out of here, it was just do a video series. So I started doing these little shorts, like 3-4 minutes, mostly with this other kid from El Paso, Diego Alvarado. He's like one of my favorite skaters of all time. He's one of the best skateboarders in the world. And I don't mean like his abilities or what he's accomplished. He's just a really great dude, and his skating is just infectious. You watch him do what he does, and you're just like, how, like...
What does he tend to skate?
He skates everything. He excels on vert and pool coping. I mean, he's the kind of guy that will skate with his feet together and grind across the whole thing with his feet together, and he can do the inverts and the slob plants and the nose grinds and all that stuff. But then he'll also go out to the ditches and the street. He taught himself how to kickflip really well. He's kind of just a local legend in El Paso. I don't know how he's not like some big popular pro skater.
Sounds like a cool guy with some versatile.
He was riding for Z-Flex when Joe Hammocky was the TM, and then he got flowed for some other companies here and there before and after Z-Flex. But he kind of just does his own thing, riding motorcycles and sticking around El Paso and just traveling, camping. But so Diego is the first person that I traveled with a lot, and so I ended up filming and shooting him a lot. And the first few videos were mostly Diego. There'd be a few other people here and there. And when I moved to Albuquerque in 2016, that's kind of where the ball really got rolling. Like, things caught fire in Albuquerque, especially becoming close to Jake the Jeweler and being like best friends with him and skating and filming with him every day. He's another one that's just diamond in the rough. A lot of people know him because he takes teams around Albuquerque and other places. It's filmed for Thrasher and done a bunch of other stuff. But he is the kind of person that can fix any spot, clean any spot, build anything to make it happen. He's probably like 15, 16 full parts deep in his career. I think he's like
that's awesome.
Mid or early 30s now. Yeah, once I moved to Albuquerque, the level of skating that the people in Albuquerque do is just pro level. Like their spots are scary, their spots are abundant, and they are just fried out in the desert. They have no fear.
Yeah.
And
I've seen some videos of Albuquerque stuff. Seems definitely gnarly.
Yeah, Albuquerque is gnarly, and the people especially. Albuquerque has the best, one of the best, if not the best that I know of, skate scenes anywhere. Of course, they all have their little factions around town and their cliques, you know.
Yeah.
But anytime anything happens, there's an event, there's a video, there's a contest, everyone comes together.
Yeah.
Everyone is friends. There's no beef. There's no shop beef. There's no problems, no drama. Everyone's just supporting each other, and like I said, it's just abundance between people to choose to film and spots and just the vibe there. You could kind of go on forever. So I think it was really Albuquerque and the people of Albuquerque that brought Chapped to the level that it is. I get weirded out when people are like, you put us on the map and you did that. I'm just like, no, like you did that. There's such pros. They're not professional skaters. They're not getting paid to skateboard. A lot of them are flow. A lot of them are hooked up in their ways, but they're just diamonds in the rough. Nobody knows who they are, and it's almost overwhelming at this point how many people I have to film with. You know, there was 58 people in my last video.
Wow.
And most of them are Albuquerque. You know, there's a good couple handfuls from California, a little bit from Arizona, a little bit from Texas, but they're all New Mexico, and it's them who brought the video to the level that it is now, which is kind of like almost too high. People aren't filming as much anymore because they got to get gnarly, and I'm even telling people, hey, like this next video is all enders. Like we're gonna, even if it takes 3 years, like we just want to make something that nobody can deny, and Albuquerque can do that. You know, the people there, whether they're
willing to get gnarly.
People like Monaco Candelaria, August Agushi. You know, they have great filmers there too. Dean Kubasek is an amazing filmer, industry standard filmer, and he'll film people that come through. And that's another good thing about Albuquerque is it's right on I-40, so all the pros that are traveling, they come through, they stop, they hit the spots, and if they don't have their filmers with them, we got them covered. Between Jake the Jeweler, Dean, this other guy Jer, like I'm gonna leave some people out because there's so many of them, but you know, Albuquerque's a great space to stop at and stay for at least a week because there's just so many spots and so many talented skaters that you feel like, you know, you're in good company and you're motivated to do something pretty gnarly. Yeah, so with all that going on, I can't just sit at home. I have to go out and film that stuff because that's what I love to do. It's exciting. I just love watching it back and knowing how it's going to look when it's all put together, and knowing that I get to make more stuff out of it, you know. That's
the best part, watching
it's super
the process.
fun. Yeah. That's the whole reason I'm doing it, is for the process. Yeah. That's the reason I was doing a skateboard company way back in the day. I didn't care a lick about actually doing a skateboard company. I just wanted to design the boards. I wanted to make t-shirts. I wanted to make stickers. I wanted to make videos, you know, incorporate my music with that. So I've been playing in punk bands since the late 90s, and it's pretty easy to just do it yourself, you know.
Yeah.
We all follow a DIY vibe, so I kind of took that from punk rock into skateboarding. Just do whatever you want to, you know. Like, you don't have to wait for some big opportunity from some dream, you know. Maybe that'll come one day, but if you want to do something, you can just do it yourself. Yeah, you just figure it out.
Side note, though, you just inspired me to want to go to Albuquerque.
There we go.
I want to go now after you said that. I want to go.
He's not there
You should.
Oh yeah, Dharma used to live there. Yeah.
I need to get back there.
One of my dad's best friends used to live there.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the good thing about Albuquerque is the spot selection. You have, of course, your street spots. You got your downtown stuff. all the ditches. The whole town is
I love ditch spots.
designed to keep flash floods from washing us all away.
I've only skated a couple of ditch spots, but the ones I've skated at, they're fun.
Yeah.
I want to skate more ditches.
Yeah. We
Those are
got
fun to me.
backyard pools.
Oh, I love those.
I have a backyard pool in my backyard. I bought Palmer's Pool, which is kind of a popular
out
spot.
there in Albuquerque.
Yeah,
sick.
We have just pretty much anything you want to skate, and there's a couple of parks with big tranny. There's just lots to do there, and tons of people to do it with.
Mm-hmm.
You really all you got to do is get on Instagram and say, hey, you want to meet up? And anytime people come in from out of town, people get stoked.
Yeah.
You know, so it's definitely a good place to go.
Sounds like a fun time. Tell me about your music journey and how that's going.
It's another one that's been pretty much my whole life. You know, it's playing music's like playing video games. It's just something to do. You get instant response out of it. You press something, you pluck something, you do something, and you get a sound out of it. And I can remember my dad having an acoustic guitar that I would pull down and not have a clue what I was doing. I can remember my mom dating people. Every once in a while, somebody had a drum set. I would sit behind that. Didn't know what I was doing. I would just kind of make up a song.
Just have fun with it.
Yeah, you just have fun. And I think it wasn't until like middle school. Well, no, before that, I did 2 years of piano as a kid. I was getting really into that. Well, my friend was taking piano lessons. I thought it was so cool, so I had to do the same thing. And then, yeah, piano is super cool, huh? And
from piano to punk rock.
Yeah, piano to punk. So I think in high school I was starting to learn chords and actually play songs on acoustic. You know, and like I said, nothing to do in Alabama, so we go park at a dead end on a Friday night, and I would bring the guitar and play, and that kind of led me into making friends in school that were punks. And my brother was going to punk shows when I was younger, so I always knew that was like coming. And
did you ever go to any with him?
I started. What's that?
Did you start going to shows with him?
Yeah, not with him. I started going to shows when I was a teenager, though, and just fell in love with it. I was already kind of listening to some of those bands, and I remember I was really into this band from North Carolina called the Pink Collar Jobs, which I actually used one of their songs in my last video. So even all this time, I'm still in touch with them. I started going to shows, really wanted to play in bands. So my little friend group don't know what we're doing, but we just do it, and started playing music. And slowly but surely, I got better, and it was a little less embarrassing. And this guy, the guitar player and singer from one of my favorite bands called Rice Harvester, Rice Harvester was done, and he wanted to start a new band. So he asked me and my friend Bob, who was like 14 years old, drumming, to start a band with him. And it was a band called Jarvis, and that was the first record I ever played on. All the punks from Chattanooga, Tennessee pulled all their money and put our record out. And we were from Alabama, they were from Tennessee. We would kind of travel, they would travel, and kind of play shows with each other. And then I moved to Chattanooga, Tennessee, and started playing in tons of punk bands. And that was probably my wildest punk time, you know, dumpster diving and learning how to hitchhike, and just doing the stuff you do when you have zero money, but you're still trying to do things with your life and go places. So it taught me a lot about how to get things when you needed them, how to find food when you're on tour, you know, how to book shows, how to play with people in bands, how to be democratic and give and take, and all that stuff that comes along with it. But most importantly, it taught me how to record. And you know, we never had money to go to like real big studios, and it wasn't until later that we started to try to do that. But we still kind of prefer doing it ourselves, and that's where I was able to take those skills and make music for my videos. So I have a guy who was one of the Chattanooga punks. His name's Daniel Westcott, and he lives in Berkeley now. And so now I correspond with him more than anyone. He'll play a drum beat, I'll make up a guitar song to it, and then we put the bass on there, put some leads on there, make up some words, and then boom, you got a song. And so for this last video, we were doing that a bunch. I think we made like 5 or 6 songs ourselves, and then he scored the intro, and then the rest of it, I just use my friends. So it's all copyright free, and that way you have no issues with Thrasher putting it on their stuff, because you have to own everything. They want to monetize their videos.
Yeah.
So I think this is
it's the way to do it.
Another one of the ways that I was able to weasel myself into the Thrasher platform is because there's no hang-ups with copywritten music and having to pay for anything. But again, mainly that Thrasher stuff is because that level is so high. The Albuquerque skaters and then, you know, some of the pros and Joes that I film out here are just skating at pro level. So it's worth Thrasher posting it. But that's pretty much what the music is. It's just a lifetime of just doing it yourself, figuring it out, never having any real schooling other than like middle school band. I played the trumpet, you know, knew how to read music pretty well. I do not remember how to read music at all anymore.
Oh, me either.
I can remember a little bit of it, but if you put a music sheet in front of me, I'm like, well, that's middle C, so is it F sharp? Like
in middle school, we had a band class, and they taught me how to do it, and I only remembered for like maybe a month.
Yeah,
I forgot.
I loved it. I loved band, even as goofy as it was. I loved it. I was a student director also. I was directing the band here and there. Cool. I can remember our middle school teacher would leave sometimes and we're all just sitting there talking and making noise, you know, and band class is like 60 people or just a huge group of people, you know, all the instruments. And I remember getting up there and being like, you guys just want to play a song? Let's play a song or whatever. And I would direct everybody just like he would, because it was just fun, you know. He would come back in thinking he's going to get pissed, and he's like, you guys are actually like playing music, like way to go. But yeah, it's just another form of doing whatever you want to do that's fun, you know. That's it.
What's your favorite instrument to play? What would you say? Seems like you tried quite a few things.
Yeah, I play drums, guitar, bass, piano, and then anything else I can figure out. I never really got into the woodwind stuff, you know, the reeds and having to blow a certain way. I never figured that out. I also never tried. Violin has got to be pretty hard. So yeah. I think my favorite stuff is like the rock and roll stuff. Drums, guitar, bass.
Same here.
Singing.
Yeah, I play bass and I play a little bit of guitar.
Yeah.
But bass is something I've been doing for a while.
Yeah, I mean, guitar and bass are the same thing.
Kind of concept.
Yeah. The top 4 strings on a guitar are the same as the strings on a bass. Guitar just has that high B and high E string at the bottom, and that's it. You're just playing chords with it. But I actually played bass in bands more than the guitar. My first band ever was guitar, but I was just playing straight bar chords. I never knew how to do anything else, and I didn't really know how to make traditional chords sound cool. You know, I might have figured that out a little bit better now, and I like to play the traditional chords with those other guys, like they're playing that show tonight. But probably in the middle of everything, playing drums at a show has got to be a little bit better, I think, because I can just turn my mind off, and it's just so much fun, and it's super physical.
Yeah, it does look fun.
Yeah.
I've tried drums, can figure out how to keep the rhythm right.
Yeah, that's the fun.
It's hard.
Is nailing it and sitting in the pocket. That's the fun part of it. Like I said, you gotta have fun sucking at it. So if you're not having fun being bad at it, you're never gonna get there.
Yeah.
You gotta just stick to whatever else in your life is fun for you. You know what I mean?
Kind of like I had fun sucking at bass, and then I got better at it.
And then you got better
at
it. Yeah. Same as skateboarding. It's the reason you were able to jump off that gap over there is because probably ate shit a lot.
A couple times.
Hitting gaps, you know, that were definitely probably way smaller, and you had fun doing that shit. So you got better at it, and it's the same for me. I don't get to play drums that much. I do have my drums set up in my garage at home, but it's only for like my own recording stuff, and I'm so busy with work, I don't really have time to do it as much as I want to. But I do travel back to Chattanooga every year and play with my band, The Hidden Spots. That band was previously the Jack Palance band, and they were my biggest inspirations to play in punk bands. It was probably the first tattoo I ever got where you could see it. And that was the big JPB for Jack Palance band. I don't know if you know who the Jack Palance, the actor, is, but he's a character, and he's like older guy, character, been in tons of movies, and they jokingly named their band the Jack Palance Band.
That's funny.
And their style of music was just so different than what anyone else was doing. It wasn't snotty 3-chord punk where the audience just kicks and punches each other. You know, it's very dancey, it was very pop, but it wasn't like pop punk, and it was very tough and aggressive. It was everything I wanted to do in music. So I was their #1 fan, and I was best friends with their bass player and played in bands with their guitar players. And their drummer started to kind of fall off on things, and since I was their #1 fan, and I was drumming in this band called Queer Wolf and got good enough to play their stuff. Yeah, Queer
That's
Wolf.
a funny name.
Queer Wolf was in a whole other thing. We toured a lot, and that was the craziest band. That was kind of like Husker Du mixed with Black Flag, if you want to describe it.
I love Black Flag.
But I got the opportunity to play with Jack Palance band at shows a couple of times, and I was able to kind of do Jeremy's drums, you know, like better than anyone else tried. I just listened to it so much, and I got so much inspiration from him. I tried to play like him so much that I was able to pull off playing with them, filling in for him, right? So once they decided that band's kind of done, they want to start a new band, and I was trying really hard to play with them, so that's where Hidden Spots started. And we made I think 4 7-inches and a couple LPs, and still every year I go back and I play the Chattanooga Punk Fest with them. So I just did that back in June.
Sick.
And yeah, I just
And that's in Albuquerque?
New Mexico or Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I drive straight from New Mexico to Tennessee, practice, play the show, and then the next day I drive all
right
the way
back.
back straight. It's like 19 hours.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Almost 20 hours. But it's worth it because it's the most fun, the most fulfilling, and I just miss those guys. Like our practices are basically just 45 minutes of jokes, and then we'll play a song, and then it's another 45 minutes of jokes, and then we'll play a song, and their humor is just right on par, and I just love those guys, so I hope I never stop playing with them. But yeah, that's pretty much music, is playing in punk bands, making songs for my stuff, and just doing whatever you want. This whole thing has been a theme of do whatever you want, and figure it out, do it for yourself, you know.
It's the best way to do it, in my opinion.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, you can take lessons, and you can be classically trained, and there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah.
It might even be a shortcut. It might even be better to foster your talents with, some guidance and, things that strengthen your abilities.
Yeah,
but I just never had the money for that. So I've learned from the punks that, well, you can do it anyways. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Like,
Put your mind to it.
yeah, pretty much. That's it.
So actually, coincidentally, I was at your guys' first show with Billy Ruben, your band, and
I'm sorry.
take me back to that, I guess.
So Billy Ruben is a very surreal, weird thing, but also super fun. I was coming out here a lot, staying with Lucero, skating curbs. I met Lance, started skating with Lance a lot, and he's just the humor. We bond, he's a funny dude,
cool
and
guy.
we end up just giggling and chuckling and laughing. And we were talking about music one day, and I was like, dude, let's play something. So, I just happened to be in his garage. I seen he had drums, and he keeps his drums in the ceiling on a platform, and he has a little button he can push, and the platform will lower. So he could play his drums.
Lance Mountain.
Yeah, Lance Mountain.
That's sick.
And so that
he claims he's not a musician.
that cracked me up. He's not, but he is.
Yeah.
He trashes himself more than anybody I've ever seen.
It's pretty funny.
But it's super fucking fun to play with him. And I don't need to play with the best people ever. I need to play with the most fun people. You know what I mean? So, and he's also way better than he thinks. He's not a bad drummer, but he loves to make the jokes that he's a bad drummer. But so I saw the drums in his ceiling, and I was just like, oh man, we need to play some music, And immediately, I had a little bit of money at the time. Immediately, he's like, yo, let's do that on this day or whatever. So I run to Guitar Center and I buy a guitar and an amp, just a cheap guitar and amp, just so I can play with him. And we're goofing around. He is not the very traditional musician, so he has to be led into the right mode, into the right position, and then we make something. So we started playing covers together, and he would pick a song, and I would kind of learn it, and we would learn it together, and then I would pull out my phone with a recording app, and I would record that, and then record my guitar, and then record another guitar, and then I would change all the knobs to make my guitar sound like a bass, the best I could.
Yeah.
And then I'd play the bass on a guitar, and yeah, it's super goofy. And then I would sing a couple of tracks on it, and it sounded pretty good. It's super fun. It's the kind of thing you want to listen to over and over again on the way home. And we just kept doing that. And every time I would come out here from New Mexico, I'd meet up with Lance, we'd skate, and then another day we wouldn't feel like skating. We'd go in the garage and play music. So we kind of got to the point where we had 5 songs, and I remember meeting him at the combi to go film, and he's playing our music over the speakers at the combi. I was so embarrassed, and he's like, oh, this is my friend Salba, like, and they're like, oh, you're the one singing, right? And I'm just like, oh my God.
At
like,
the combi, the indoor?
Yeah, at the fucking combi, he's playing our music, and I'm like hearing my voice, so I just wanted to crawl into a hole and die. But the other part of me was like, oh, they like it, you know, like,
though, yeah.
they think it's good. They don't know what they're talking about, but they think it's good. So maybe you have something here. So I just kind of kept pushing for it, and anytime opportunity would arise, I would just take it, you know. And eventually, people started hearing that stuff that he would play for them, and they'd be like, oh, why don't you play this show? Why don't you play this? Why don't you play that? So we started looking around for people to play with us, and a couple people who almost played with us, but it didn't work out. And guy Mark, who I was really excited to play with, unfortunately he passed away during COVID times.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yes, it's horrible. He was all sending me Husker Du stuff too, and I was like, oh man, this guy's great. Like, I can't wait to play with him. And then COVID hit and he passed away. Super bummer. Rest in peace, Mark. But we ended up somehow recruiting Ray Barbee and
cool.
this guy Paul Whitman. And Paul
was Ray Barbee on bass?
Guitar.
Guitar, okay.
Paul was playing bass.
Okay, Paul's bass.
But Paul is also the sound engineer for like American Idol and America's Got Talent and those giant shows.
That's
I don't know
sick.
if it's America's Got Talent, it's one of those, but definitely American Idol. That's the one that stuck with me. So he's the sound engineer for all that, so he gets kind of busy and can't always do it with us. So we got Steve Olsen, 70s Steve Olsen, to play bass for us, and we did another show. So the show that you saw was with Paul playing bass, and then we played in Montana last year.
And then Ray Barbee was on guitar, right?
Ray's on guitar.
Yeah.
So in Montana last year, it was Steve Olsen is bass, and Steve's super fun too. Mm-hmm. He's a character.
Yeah. Well, I remember at that show, you guys were playing like covers.
It's all covers.
It was all covers, right?
Yeah.
Did you guys play any of your own songs or no?
No original songs. Although I have a couple up my sleeve if they ever want to entertain them. But we just don't really. Those guys are just so busy doing cool shit, you know?
Yeah.
They're all, not only are they skateboarders and doing all that stuff, but they're also artists and doing all that stuff. And then they just have, you know, busy lives. So we don't really get a lot of time to mess around. If we do get together, it's very focused. It's very like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And so now we've got like 9 or 10 covers that we play, and we get enough time to practice, and then we get enough time to play a show, and then it's kind of back to normal life. But it is very surreal when you're playing with people who've just been on magazine covers, and they're the ones usually doing an interview, you know what I mean? So it's surreal for me. I'm like, how am I here? I'm the odd man out. Like, what's even going on, you know? But it's just super cool. So that's how I can explain how it happened, but I don't feel like I know how it happened. Like, I just got here somehow, and I'm enjoying it. Yeah. So we are playing tonight. I'm sure it's going to be super fun.
Is it going to be any original songs too?
No.
Aww.
No. They're all originals, originally recorded by other bands.
How come not any of your guys' songs you've made?
We just never went for it.
You guys got
like I said, I have a couple up my sleeve that I've written that we could try, but
send it.
The vibe, all the songs we're doing is like late 70s, early 80s, like power pop kind of punk.
Early punk.
They're
kind of stuff.
they're very obscure stuff, except for maybe like the Stiff Little Fingers song we play. So I think for Lance especially, these songs are the songs that we're playing at like the concrete parks they were skating when they were growing up, and the skate contests and things like that. Or when they were going on tour as kids. It's nostalgic for them. When they were going on tour as kids, that's the tape or the 8-track or whatever.
That's what they put in to get hyped.
Yeah, that's what they were playing to get hyped, and now we're kind of bringing it back. So our crowd is more of an older skateboarder crowd. But honestly, just anyone who loves those guys is stoked on seeing it. So it's just been a fun journey, and I hope it never stops. I gotta squeeze some originals in there for sure.
Yeah.
But we'll get there.
One day.
Yeah, one day.
So clearly curb skating seems to be your thing. What got you into that, and what do you love about it?
You know, the beginning is probably dragging a parking block 2 miles home with my brother and friends as kids.
Damn.
Yeah, we were putting it on our skateboard and pushing the thing on the road with cars coming, so they have to go around
Around
the parking block in Alabama. And thankfully nobody yelled at us or screamed at us, and we were able to do that. But I actually have a photo of me skating it in the driveway when I'm like 10 years old, and that's probably where Curbs started. It's an obstacle that you don't have to be super gnarly to skate, but I think the reason that I kept going with it or really pushed to get back into it at one point was that you can get aggressive, you can get techie, you can get scary.
You can do some crazy stuff.
You can eat shit, and you can hurt yourself. So there's that level of risk. But it's just super fun, you know. It all came out of vert skating. So I think the first curb stuff we're just mimicking vert stuff and just making jokes like
quarter pipe tricks too, you know.
Yeah, it's like it's lip tricks.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and it's before people were skating ledges and things like that. I think both Lucero and Lance say the other one is responsible, but I'm with Chuck Holtz. I think it probably happened all over the country around the same time, whether they knew it or not. But there's the old story of Lucero and his friend getting kicked out of the skate park, and they just wanted back in so bad. They were just skating the parking lot every day, like, let me back in. And they were hitting the parking blocks. Lucero is the one who did the first no comply, and she called it a step hop, and it was Neil Blinder who called it no comply, but he just did the straight, you know, foot plant going straight over the parking block to the other side. And
all over a parking block?
Yeah.
Those are so fun.
Yeah. And they're like I said, they're just goofing off, joking, having fun, like watch this, I'm doing a slide and roll, you know, but it's just a board slide, what we know as board slide now.
Slides, yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of where I don't really skate big stuff. I don't like to ollie a bunch. I don't skate big tranny. You know, I had a pool in my backyard, but I'm not excelling at it or, you know, somebody notable at transition skating. So I kind of just stuck to what I could progress on and what was the most fun for me, and that just turned into Curbs, and that led me to a bunch of people like Ace Pelka and skating with Lucero, skating with Lance, skating with Chuck Holtz, and just whoever else skates the Curbs. Scott Hursk is probably one of the best ever, and it's just, I can name 45 people. You know, there's a lot of really good curb skaters, but yeah, it's the appeal to me.
There's a lot out there
is that it's a mundane obstacle that people don't look at twice. It doesn't look like it's supposed to be skated.
Yeah,
and you can grind it. You can slide it, you can eat shit, you know, and you can be aggressive with it and really get kind of gnarly and gain some respect, or you can just have some fun. You can find the ones that are like 200 feet long. You know, there's one in Burbank that goes down the mountain in Burbank, and it's
sick.
Like 350, 400 feet. First person I ever saw board slide that whole thing was Roger Kaneko, and then me and Ace started going there. Ace frontside grinded the whole thing, I backside grinded the whole thing, and then eventually
300 feet?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you're just sitting on it.
That's sick.
You start cooking, going pretty fast. But over the years, the spot's kind of been worn down and doesn't skate as well. So you just go on to the next one, and that's the good thing about Curbs is they're everywhere. So you find the right one, like the one we're looking at right here.
Yeah.
And Kyle Walsh came and worked this in. Thankfully, he's broken a few other ones for us all. So every time he does that, I like rush to California. Everyone's already murked the spot by the time I get there, but occasionally I'll get an MBD. Like they said, I was the first one to do this one frontside, and there's one in Peter Green Park in Huntington Beach that's pretty long roll-on grind that turns and goes downhill. And they said I was the only one to do that switch. I don't know though.
Really?
It's California. People are gnarly out here, so
true.
Could just be my friends gassing me up. But it's nice to think that you did something first.
I mean, you might have. You never know.
Never know.
Never really know.
Never know. I'm not really known as the skateboarder. You know what I mean? But I've had my wins. I've won some battles and gotten some respect from some people. So it's been pretty cool. Yeah, Curbs are vert too. 6 inches of vert.
Honestly,
yeah,
I could agree. There's definitely some vertical, you know.
Yeah, right on.
So, what advice would you give kids that are interested in skateboarding and serious about making music and getting involved with it?
What advice would I give? Get a job. No, just kidding.
Well, that might help with some funding. Might help you
honestly,
get some stuff.
Honestly, find
job.
a job that takes care of you financially, so you're not worried about that, and you're not making the punker moves that I had to make. But the whole theme for this whole thing has just been do it. Just do it. You know, like you want to do something, just go do it. It's great to have goals. It's great to have like a location to take yourself to, because you don't know what road's going to take you there. You can't always see the road. So you just got to have fun in the moment, learn from everything and everyone as much as you can, and just don't do it if you're not having fun with it. You know, like, people only do what they want anyways.
Oh, exactly.
So if you want something bad enough, you're gonna figure out a way to do it.
To get there.
Yeah, you're gonna figure out a way to do it. And I don't even know where I'm at. Like, I don't know why I'm here right now. You know what I mean?
Well, you are.
So here I am. So I'm just gonna embrace it. I take the opportunity, and you know, when things come up, jump on them and just have fun and keep learning and progressing with anything that you're doing. Like, it could be tap dancing, it could be calligraphy, it could be, you know, it could be some gnarly job in a cubicle in an office. You know, like, you network, you meet people, you bring people into your life. They can be resources, they can be inspiration, they can be spectators. You know, you need people, and you need to fucking do something. So, you know, with whatever it is, just go do it. You know, don't talk about it, be about it. You heard that?
Yeah, I've heard that saying.
Yeah, pretty much. Just go do it. Don't worry about it having to be a certain way. If you want it to be a certain way, we'll work towards that.
Work towards that.
You know, but it doesn't have to stop you from doing something. You know what I mean? And that's never stopped me. Like, I'm not gonna get in the magazine. Well, I'm gonna go skate anyways. You know, you're not going to be a pro skater. I'm going to skate anyways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I have fun doing that. If I wanted to be a pro skater and it hasn't happened by the time I'm 46, I should probably just quit, right? You know, like, no. No, I have fun skating, so who cares, you know? So I'm just gonna keep doing things, and if I gain some recognition, that's great. That's more friends. Like, I never met you guys, and now I know who you are.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So there's always reasons to do things. There's reasons not to do things, but the number one should be because you have fun and because you love it. So just go do it. Yeah.
Hey, thanks for your time, man. Let's skate.
Thanks for hitting me up. Let's
Yeah.
get it.